In the last 3 chapters, 1513, 1514, and 1515, we were all losing our minds. We saw Sendo swinging wild. We saw Ricardo Martinez actually stepping back instead of slipping. The crowd was roaring, and we thought the tiger was about to shock the world. We were sweating, thinking Morikawa's actually going to let Sendo dethrone the king of the featherweight division. We have to wake up, man. Sendo is not walking out of that arena with the belt. He might not walk out of that arena at all. What we are watching is a highly publicized execution. Sendo is the sacrificial lamb, but he is not dying for nothing. He is doing something infinitely more important than winning. He is writing the blueprint to kill Martinez, and he is writing it in his own blood for Ippo to read. You need to look at Sendo's boxing style objectively. Sendo relies on instinct, raw nuclear power, and an indestructible chin. He face tanks to close the distance. He throws naked haymakers from the cheap seats and hopes the sheer wind pressure breaks your guard. It worked against Gonzalez. Why? Because Alf had an ego. Alf got clipped, got angry, and let his machismo drag him into a back alley brawl. Sendo won because Alf stepped into his world. Ricardo does not have an ego. Ricardo is an algorithm. Ricardo is a spreadsheet that calculates distance, velocity, and trajectory. He doesn't get angry, man. He doesn't get dragged into brawls. Trying to beat Ricardo Martinez with pure aggression is like trying to solve a calculus equation by headbutting the whiteboard. You're just gonna end up bleeding on the floor looking stupid. Date AG tried to outbox the king. He brought decades of experience, flawless technique, and the heartbreak of an entire nation. Ricardo shattered his ribs, wired his jaw shut, and sent him to a hospital bed. If Ricardo can dismantle Date's flawless technique without breaking a sweat, what exactly do you think he is going to do to a guy who leads with his forehead? Ricardo is going to break Sendo down like a mechanic stripping a stolen Honda. So why is Sendo even landing then? Why is the chapter making it look like Sendo has a chance? Because Sendo is weaponizing his own impending destruction, the breakdown of his own body. Sendo knows he cannot outbox Ricardo. Sendo is unhinged, but he's not stupid. He knows his limits. He knows he doesn't have the technical depth to survive 12 rounds of surgical left jabs. So he's opting for a completely suicidal strategy. He is trying to force Ricardo out of his pristine, orthodox machinery and drag out the violent, bloodthirsty Ricardo we saw glimpses of years ago. Sendo is forcing a street fight. He is ignoring the rules of boxing entirely. He's had it himself. Bring it on, boxing. He is throwing the smashes from impossible angles, completely abandoning his defense and daring Ricardo to put him down. And this is what's tragic. When Ricardo finally drops the textbook and accepts the street fight, Sendo is finished, man. His chin is legendary, no doubt about it. We all know that. But it is still attached to a human brain. When Ricardo switches into his true violent style, the precision does not drop. The malice just goes up. Ricardo is going to systematically dismantle Sendo's internal organs. We are going to watch the most brutal, agonizing beatdown in the history of this manga. The tiger is going to be put down. But this is exactly the plan, man. Sendo knows his role. Unconsciously. He knows exactly who's sitting in the audience watching every single microsecond of this fight. Ippo. Go back to their history. Sendo respects Ippo more than anyone else on the planet. He knows Ippo is the only one who actually holds the key to the throne. Sendo is throwing his life away just to give his greatest rival a map through the minefield. He's acting as a human crash test dummy. He's taking world-ending damage on purpose. Why? To force Ricardo to throw his most violent, hidden combinations. To force him to step off his perfect center line. To make Ricardo show the world what he looks like when he's actually trying to kill someone. And Ippo is sitting right there watching. The old Ippo would be close to crying. He would crash out. But the new Ippo, who's running head-to-head with Takamura, the one who's casually parrying world champions in street clothes, that Ippo is not crying, man. This guy is calculating. Every drop of blood Sendo spills is a data point. Every time Sendo gets cracked with a counter, Ippo is registering the timing, the angle, and the weight shift. Sendo is stripping off Ricardo's flawless armor and exposing the raw machinery underneath. He is going to force Ricardo to make a single mechanical error. A flinch, a drop in the guard, a wide swing born out of pure frustration. And that brings us the ultimate payoff. The Infinity Dempsey roll. I told you before about Ippo's southpaw pivot. the ability to shift his center of gravity to the absolute blind spot of his opponent. But to execute that against Ricardo Martinez, Ippo needs to know exactly where that blind spot is when Ricardo is pushed to the absolute brink. Ricardo never leaves a blind spot because nobody has ever pushed him out of his perfect orthodox stance. Sendo's gonna do it. Sendo is going to take a horrific beating just to force Ricardo to overcommit on a violent swing. And when Ricardo overcommits, his perfect stance will crack for a fraction of a second. The blind spot will materialize. Ippo is going to see it. He is going to memorize the exact spatial coordinates of that opening. Sendo is not fighting to win. Not anymore. He is fighting to map the coordinates for the Infinity Dempsey roll. He is sacrificing his own career, man, maybe even his life, to hand Ippo the exact cheat code needed to beat the final boss. When they finally carry Sendo out of that arena on a stretcher, the crowd is going to be dead silent. The boxing world will be in mourning, but the camera is going to pan to Makunouchi Ippo, and his eyes are going to be completely cold. Sendo's blood is writing the final chapter. Ippo is just going to execute it. All of us Sendo fanboys, and me too, man, me too. We need to accept reality, man. The boy is a legend. He has the heart of a tiger, but he is a stepping stone. We might need to prepare for a funeral and prepare ourselves for the most terrifying version of Ippo the world has ever seen. We are going to war.